Hello, good evening and welcome to 3FM 92.7. This is Hot Edition, live from our studio here at Adisawe Kanda, Accra. I am Martin Asiedu-Darteh. Coming up this evening, minority MPs storm Yoko headquarters demanding a downward review of the 50 million CD bail condition for Wontumi, the Ashanti regional chairman of the party.
This is most unfortunate. Is this a certain political show of this is most unfortunate. Is this a nation of rules, laws? What is happening here? And I keep saying, President Mahama, what is happening here? President Mahama, what is happening in this country? This is no rule of law.
We have the latest regarding this development for you in a moment. Also tonight, a Betifi Member of Parliament, Brian Achampong, hints of the MPP flag bearership bid as he forms an exploratory committee to engage stakeholders and grassroots. We'll find out what exactly the intent and the roadmap for this committee, what that will be. And later, the Minister for Labour, Labour, Employment and Jobs, Rashid Pelpo, implores nurses and midwives to hold off intended strike over conditions of service. We have details of all these plus business and sports coming up for the next 1 hour and 30 minutes. This is Hot Edition on 3FM. Let's settle for the details now. And before that, we have Christabel Success Trevor, who has the summaries of the big stories for us. Hello, Christ.
Hi, Martin. The caucus in Parliament staged a dramatic walkout on Thursday, May 30th, in protest against the continued detention of New Patriotic Party (NPP) Ashanti Regional Chairman Bernard Intwi-Bosiako, popularly known as Chairman Wontumi. Wontumi has been in Yoko custody since Tuesday, May 27. The Member of Parliament for Abetifi, Dr. Brian Achampong, has announced that he's formed an exploratory committee geared towards uniting the members of the New Patriotic Party and preparing the party ahead of the 2028 elections. The committee has been tasked to engage stakeholders and listen to the voices. The Narcotics Control Commission, in collaboration with customs officials at the Tema port, has intercepted a 20-foot container carrying a consignment of tramadol exceeding the legally permitted dosage of 100 mg. The seizure made at approximately 4:40 p.m. revealed 99 cartons of Tramal X120, a combination of tramadol and carisoprodol at 120 mg strength, alongside some quantity of scissor fiber. The Ghana Police Service has promoted 4 officers of the Western Central Regional Police Command in recognition of their diligence, professionalism and dedication to duty, particularly for their role in arresting suspects linked to the Isiyao murder case. The officers, Christian Asari, Festus Gameli Kukwa, Nicholas Kinsley Amoa, and Adam Yakubu have been promoted to the ranks of Inspector, Sergeant, and Lance Corporal, respectively. And before I leave you, a splinter group made up of the Union of Professional Nurses and Midwives Ghana, the Professional Association of Psychiatric Nurses Ghana, the National Association of Registered Midwives Ghana, and the Ghana Registered Midwives Association are urging the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association to reconsider its position regarding the industrial action recently declared. More than 128,000 nurses and midwives across Ghana are preparing to withdraw their services within the next 10 days, citing the government's continued delay in implementing their agreed conditions of service. Martin?
Thank you very much, Christabel, for the latest for the summaries of the bulletin that we have for you. But now, time for the specific details of the big stories we have for you this evening. We're starting from developments having to do with the minority in Parliament. Now, the NPP MPs have besieged the headquarters of the Economic and Organised Crime Office, Yoko, demanding the immediate release of the Ashanti Regional Chairman of the party, Bernard Intwi-Bosiako. Many of you will know him as Chairman Wontumi. Wontumi was arrested by Yoko on Tuesday, the 27th of May, shortly after granted bail by the police CID in a case linked to alleged illegal mining activities. Yoko is holding him over a separate matter bordering on financial crime. His arrest sparked protests from party supporters who massed up at Yoko's office. Wontumi was later rushed to the hospital after reportedly falling ill while in the Yoko custody. Although Yoko has since granted him bail in the sum of 50 million Ghana cedis with 2 sureties, he has been unable to meet the bail conditions. Now, the minority MPs who boycotted parliamentary proceedings over Wontumi's detention are demanding that the bail terms be varied, calling his continued detention unjust. Let's find out what exactly it looked like on the grounds in the premises of Yoko offices. Joining me in studio now is Noble Crosby, and he was there and has come through for this particular chat on this. Crosby, thank you for joining us. To start with, around what time did the minority MPs decide to go to the premises of Yoko?
So it was close to 3 o'clock when these members of parliament boycotted parliament. So they left, they walked out of parliament, and then together with all the leadership of the house, of their side, and I'm talking about the minority leader, Alexander King, the deputy minority leader, Patricia Appiagyei, as well as the whips led by Frank Anodonpre, they marched briskly to the forefront of the Yoko office. And while they were going, they were singing and chanting patriotic songs, and gradually they were, mobilizing people and supporters. Their fans was also, they were also coming to join them. And then it became sort of like a mini protest or a demonstration, if you like. That was when they got to the forefront of Yoko. And then after a few interviews with the media, a few concerns raised, the police, of course, they had barricaded the premises of Yoko, the entrance of Yoko, and that was in response to what happened about 2 or 3 days ago when Benedict Chuboisiaku was first brought there. That his supporters and other supporters of the MPP, they even rushed to the premises of Yoko demanding that he be released. So for the past days, barricades have been at the frontage of Yoko. Police vehicles have been there and all of that. So today it was increased, if you like, that these members of parliament got there. After a while, led by Ahmed King, he directed that these members of parliament, they take a seat on the floor. So they sat on the floor in the road. And that was their form of protest to demand that he be released, to demand that the right things are done. What essentially they're saying is that what is happening to Chairman Wontumi is purely political. It has almost nothing to do with the rule of law. In fact, if you listen to the whip, the minority whip, and I'm talking about Frank Anodonpre, he was saying that they're not there to shield any wrongdoing whatsoever. He emphasized that point. They're not there to obstruct investigations. According to him, they are there because a line has been crossed, a dangerous, unacceptable line that signals state power can now be used to humiliate, and traumatize and affect citizens of Ghana. That line has been crossed. That is what they are protesting against. That is what they are asking for. Ahmed, for instance, is asking that the bail conditions, the 50 million cedis bail condition plus 2 sureties, it be varied, it be reduced, if you like. We understand that Chairman Wontumi and his lawyers, they've been able to secure 1 surety. There's 1 more to go. That has not happened yet. So that's why he has not been released by Yoko yet.
So, Crosby, certainly you're going to be with us for a bit so we can get to juice out all the information we can regarding this. So, if you are just listening to us and maybe you're just about getting out of your vehicle, you can also watch us on Facebook where we are streaming this bulletin. Then you can get to see the videos and pictures of the exacts that happened around the offices of Yoko when the minority decided to march all the way from Parliament House to the Yoko office. And they actually sat on the floor, led by the minority leader, Alexander Appiagyei. Looks like the deputy minority leader, Madam Patricia Appiagyei, struggled to sit because she probably was unaware of the demonstration and didn't get the appropriate outfit. So her dressing couldn't allow her to also sit on the floor. But many of the leadership of the minority sat on the floor, surrounded by other members of parliament on the minority side. Like Crosby indicated, we know that the minority chief whip, Frank Asiedu-Darteh, spoke moments ago about why they were there. We'll try and get to that specific issues and some of the issues he's been raising, and then get into whether or not there has been any response from the officials of Yoko or maybe some of the security services there. So let's first of all listen to Frank Asiedu-Darteh, minority chief whip. All right, so we'll bring you that inset in a moment. Looks like the machines are slowing down on us. But on the back of that, we do know that a few minutes ago, moments before we came into the studio, the minority were still at the Yoko premises and are demanding the reduction or review of the minority, a review of the bail conditions that Wontumi has been slapped with. So let's bring you that inset now.
There are several ways of killing a cat. Is that not the case? We are mounting pressure on each and everyone who has decided to blatantly disregard the rule of law, to disregard due process, to ensure that for more than 48 hours, without allowing the person to go through due process. Why would we want to do this? Why is it?
But make no mistake, this is not just about him. This is about a dangerous pattern that is emerging under this government. The misuse of state institutions to settle political scores, the erosion of impartiality in our law enforcement agencies, and the growing culture of fear and silence that is being imposed on our political discourse. We cannot, and we will not. We will not allow Yoko, the NIB, the police, or any state agency to be weaponized for political intimidation. We will not allow our democracy to be defiled by power-drunk actors who believe they are above the law. And we will not allow the Ghanaian people to be deceived into thinking that this is ordinary justice at work. If there are genuine concerns to be investigated, let them be pursued with fairness, with transparency, and with dignity. But what we witnessed was none of what. What we witnessed was the abuse of the law by those entrusted to uphold it. What we witnessed was a shameful chapter in our democratic journey, one that we must resist, reject, and remember. The minority in Parliament stands united, resolute, and unafraid. We will continue to speak power, truth to power. We will continue to walk the path of justice, no matter the cost, even at the peril of our lives, because we believe that Ghana must never be a country where political differences are punished with persecution, where opposition is met with oppression, where speaking out means being dragged out. Ladies and gentlemen, this work is not the end. It's the beginning of a multiplicity of factors and actions to be staged in the days ahead of us. It is only the beginning, a beginning of vigilance, a beginning of resistance, a beginning of people rising to reclaim the soul of this republic from those who trade in it for control. The Yoko, well, to the Yoko, to this government, and to those watching, we say this. The emphasis is mine. We say this. The minority is watching. The people are watching. History is watching. Yes. I thank you.
And you heard the voice of the minority chief whip of the NPP in Parliament, that is in the person of Frank Asiedu-Darteh, speaking to the media moments after they arrived there. But Crosby is still with us. Crosby, now, again, paint a picture for us. When the minority were about getting there, per the videos we are seeing, they must have caused a bit of traffic. Was that the situation? How was it like?
That was exactly the situation. So you know where Yoko is situated? Right in front of Yoko, the road there is leading to the Kwame Nkrumah Museum. So these members of parliament with their supporters, they took a seat right in the middle of the road. So the police had to divert traffic. What happened was that police officers blocked traffic after the intersection after you go through the Accra Road. When you're getting close to Yoko, there's an intersection there. They began diverting all traffic towards the Kwame Nkrumah Museum area, towards Stadium. So that was what was happening at the moment, and that was a diversion that happened. However, for vehicles who were approaching from the opposite direction, it was very slow for them as well, because their supporters had gathered and they were in the middle of the road, so drivers would have to slow down than usual so that they don't cause accidents there. So traffic situation was affected, but eventually it was restored after these members of parliament left the place.
Okay. Now, do we know the exact demands the minority have? What we are being told is that they are asking for a waiver of the bail conditions, but beyond that, are they asking for anything else?
What they're asking for, two things, mainly, in summary, is that Chairman Wontumi is treated fairly, is treated like every other Ghanaian. Chairman Wontumi is not victimized, that he is not persecuted, that what is happening right now does not turn into a political witch hunt, because that is what they see is the reason, that is what they see happening right now. What they want is that all the happenings concerning Chairman Wontumi and what he has been accused of be dealt with according to the rule of law. In fact, for Nana Boakye and some other leaders of the NPP, what they're saying is that what is happening is politics. That's the word that the former Minister for Information, I'm talking about Kojo Nkrumah, said, that what is happening is purely politics. It has almost nothing to do with democracy. For Frank Asiedu-Darteh, what is happening over the past few days is casting a dark shadow on the country's democracy. They want him to be treated fairly, and then they want the bail conditions to be varied. It is exorbitant, and it was set like that so that he will be unable to fulfill them, so that he will be kept longer at Yoko against his desires.
Right, so let's listen to some of the names you mentioned. Henry Nana Boakye is the national president of the NPP, and then also MP for Fonsia Irebi, Kojo Nkrumah, former information minister, former works and housing minister. They all shared thoughts on today's development of the minority from parliament massing up at the Yoko premises in solidarity with the chairman of the NPP, Chairman Wontumi, who is currently still in Yoko. The minority are saying that the bail bond is too much, it should be reviewed, and beyond that, they are saying he has taken ill, and on the back of that should be released. So it's a very fluid situation. Let's pick the thoughts of these two gentlemen and then maybe come and wrap it up with Crosby in studio.
They are telling us is that Wontumi is not here. We have asked of his whereabouts and they are unable to confirm. We've asked of the director. We have been told that the Director General is not here. That is Jomondacha. His deputies are not here. Look, we demand that there should be fairness in all of this. Fairness in all of this. You invited Wontumi on Monday. He came to the police CID. After interrogation, he was granted bail. You told him to report the following day. And just when he was exiting, he was ambushed and he was picked up. I would say it's a kidnap. Now, we don't even know his whereabouts. We are here. The entire minority caucus walked from parliament, and then somebody here says that, oh, Wontumi is not here. This is most unfortunate. Is this a certain political show of bravado? We are a nation of rules, laws. What is happening here? And I keep saying, President Mahama, what is happening here? President Mahama, what is happening in this country?
They say rule of law.
This is no rule of law. This is a rule of a certain person, certain man, somebody somewhere, wanting to show that yes, we have power. Yes, we are in charge. He was picked up on Tuesday. As we speak, it is 48 hours. And they are telling us that they don't know his whereabouts.
He's going to court an option to you, a legal participant. He's going to court an option.
Oh, of course, it's part of the options. Of course, it's part. And I know that his lawyers are preparing something. But then what we are saying is that we demand to speak to the leadership. They need to update us what is happening. It is 48 hours after his arrest. What is happening? That is why the entire minority caucus, they walked all the way from Parliament to this place.
So that is Henry Nana Boakye, national organizer of the NPP, asking questions of the President of the Republic that what is happening. And look, you want to see the videos and pictures, very, very interesting to see. So go to our Facebook page or just share the link, 3FM on Facebook, and you can get to see what exactly happened on the route to the Yoko office. And when they arrived there, how the members of parliament, the honorable members of parliament on the minority side decided to sit on the floor. Apenyo Markin, the leader of the group, taking off his jacket, sitting on the floor, taking off his shoes as well. It is a sight to behold. So go to the Facebook page and you can appreciate what exactly we're talking about. Also, Kojo Nkrumah, we indicated, also shared a thought on it and said that he thought the systems in the country must be allowed to work devoid of partisan politics. Let's listen to him.
That he will struggle to meet it, and then you can keep him behind bars. This is politics. It's not law, it's politics. And that is why we have to draw the attention to it, that this is unacceptable. They are using the coercive power of the state in an attempt to intimidate political opponents. And that is why we need to draw the attention to the fact that where our democracy is, we don't do that anymore.
And that's Kojo Nkrumah there. So if you've been watching, following, listening, let's know what you also think about today's development. And it seems to have dominated the headlines that the minority decide to show solidarity to Chairman Wontumi by boycotting parliamentary proceedings and heading to the Yoko premises. Crosby is still with us. In wrapping up, Crosby, so talk to us. Before you left the premises, did you see or hear from any Yoko official or any security agency there trying to speak to or interact with the minority members?
Any Yoko official, Martin, that I did not see. However, police officers who were there were having tete-a-tete with these members of parliament. Some have personal relationships with them already, so maybe they were talking, having general conversations. But proper representative from Yoko was not present. Again, because this was not, if you like, a planned protest where petitions were supposed to be submitted and the expectation was that they would have been received. This was not a protest that had Yoko aware, the police even aware. So Yoko was not there to receive any petition, that is, if there was anything like that. In fact, you heard one of the speakers saying that they're being told that the boss, and I'm talking about Remonacha, is not around. He's not at the office. So they could not even meet with him. Neither were they able to engage with any representative of his or the office of the Economic and Organized Crime Office in his stead, Martin.
All right, Crosby, Noble Crosby, and thank you for that report. He was at the Yoko office when the minority massed up there and has been updating us on what he saw. And then also you've been hearing some of the voices of the NPs on the minority side regarding the solidarity they are showing to Chairman Wontumi, the Ashanti Regional Chair of the NPP. It is still streaming on Facebook, so do let us know in the comment section what you make of this particular development. This is 3FM 92.7. It is Hot Edition, live from our studio here at Adesanwe Kanda, Accra. Now, we know that the minority leader, Alexander Apenyo Markin, and the first Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Bernard Ahiafo, had a conversation on the floor of Parliament before the minority decided to leave the chamber. We'll try and get to that insert in a jiffy so you can also understand how this all of this started, the genesis of it from Parliament. We'll get to that particular insert where the minority leader, Penyo Markin, and First Deputy Speaker, Bernard Ahiafo, shared thoughts and had agreements and disagreements regarding their decision to boycott proceedings in Parliament today. And later, we saw, or you can see on the stream, that the minority have massed up at the Yoko office. We do not know how long they intend to stay there for, but if any other information comes up regarding this, we will update you on it. In the meantime, though, let's try and listen to what exactly the two individuals I indicated have been saying in Parliament.
Is now demanding that he should procure property worth 50 million as justification. Mr. Speaker, as we speak, Chairman Woon to me is still in the custody of NIB, Yoko, but has been sent to the NIB clinic. Mr. Speaker, Yoko, I must emphasize, because this is a house of record, he is unwell now, and it's been 48 hours. But Mr. Speaker, is that clinic able to give him the treatment he needs? Yoko cannot arrogate the power of demanding justification at the inquiry level. You are doing investigation. The matter is not before a court for trial. And then you make the bail conditions so onerous. It is clear that this is being used to punish him. The rule of law must be followed. Due process must be followed. Mr. Speaker, it is clear from what is happening that Yoko is being capricious, that Yoko is being biased, and Mr. Speaker, we must not entertain it. Whilst he has his right to pursue the matter in another forum, I believe that for the good of democracy, Yoko, without delay, must revoke and vary that onerous bail condition. The man is still in the hospital. You are demanding 50 million worth of property. And Mr. Speaker, the sad part of it is that if the individuals go there, they build Mr. Speaker, the sureties. Colleagues, pay attention to this. Maybe today it is an MPP member. Please, when the person gets there, the surety, yesterday when one surety got there, they now said that the person to go and do inspection has closed. It's not available. You go there at 10 o'clock, they say it's not available. Mr. Speaker, we should not do this to ourselves. That until Yoko is able to do the right thing, we, the MPP side, however our numbers, will protest by absenting ourselves from proceedings of this house and join him. We are all going to sleep there with him, and we are not going to ask for any property. We don't have 50 million worth of properties. Where is he going to get it from? That go and bring landed documents. Mr. Speaker, they must do the right thing, and we will not be part of any proceedings until the right thing is done.
I was thinking whether this is a matter to open up for a debate. He is seeking the leave of the House to draw the House attention to a matter of urgent public importance. And I have listened carefully to him. I would want the House to take a look at Article 125 of the Constitution, particularly Clause 1, 2, and 3, and have the view as to what we should be doing in the circumstances. Honorable members, let me read. Article 125. Justice emanates from the people and shall be administered in the name of the Republic by the judiciary, who shall be independent and subject only to this Constitution. 2, citizens may exercise popular participation in the administration of justice through the institution of public and customary tribunals and the jury and assessor system. 3, the judicial power of Ghana shall be vested in the judiciary. Accordingly, neither the president, nor parliament, nor any organ or agency of the president or parliament shall have or be given final judicial power. So he's drawn the attention to a matter of public urgent importance, and having regard to the constitutional principle, the supreme law of the land, above and beyond which no further law exists. What then is expected of Parliament? I believe this is a matter that can adequately be addressed by the judiciary. For me, if a decision of an institution can be challenged at the court, if a security agency poses a bail condition that you feel that the bail condition is harsh, I do not think Parliament will have the authority to call for a review of that particular decision. If a person is detained beyond the stipulated constitutional period, what you should do is very clear. So, in the circumstances, I will want to bring the statement time to an end.
And that is Bernard Ahiafo, who is the first Deputy Speaker of Parliament. Before him, he also had Alexander Penyamaki, who is the leader of the minority side in Parliament. And picking up from the last part of Bernard Ahiafo's submission, he is more or less saying that if you believe that any state institution has overstepped the mandate it has or is doing something unconstitutional, you should head to court. And information we are picking indicate that that is what stoked the minority's decision to now want to boycott parliamentary proceedings. But let's ask a legal practitioner and a law lecturer what he makes of this development and how does that bode for Ghana's democracy and the democracy we are hoping to build. Raymond Bederman is a private legal practitioner and also a law lecturer at CAF University. Mr. Bederman, good evening. Thank you for joining us on 3FM.
Good evening, Martin. How are you?
Not bad, thank you. To start with, I'm sure you've been following the developments, and the concern really is on the 48-hour rule, where if a state institution or the security services pick up someone or invite someone or detain someone, it should not go beyond the stipulated 48 hours. From the time this whole wound to me issue started, do you think that is been kept beyond the 48-hour period?
Okay, thank you, Martin, and a very good evening to your cherished listeners. Actually, the 48-hour rule is there to protect the citizens against infringement on their right to movement. In that, if a person is accused of something and for that matter he has been arrested by police or any security agency, then between the time they arrest the person to 48 hours, the person must be arraigned before court. And where that is not done, then that person has the power to go to court to apply as a matter of right for the person to be released unconditionally. So under these circumstances, if calculating from the time he was arrested up to this time, if it is about 48 hours, then what they have to do is to apply to court for him to be released unconditionally.
Which means that the call of the first Deputy Speaker, Bernard Ahiafo, that if the minority feels slighted about this, they should head to court, is a call in the right direction.
I believe, and I believe that is the
law. But how do you calculate this 48 hours? So, for instance, where on the night that Chairman Wontumi was picked up, It was later, so let's say it was around 4 p.m., 4 to 5 p.m. that he was picked up. Around 11, getting to midnight, he left the Yoko premises, although he was still in custody. He left the Yoko premises to a hospital where we are told he still is at. And later, even his lawyer said that they couldn't get a police officer to escort him back to Yoko premises, etc. When you leave a place where you are supposed to be at for investigation, does that still calculate as part of the 48 hours?
If he was still under the control of the officials of Yoko, then he was still under custody. But where he has been released and asked him to go for the medical attention and come back, then we cannot say that he was in custody because he was released to go. And after he has sought his medical attention, he will come back. So under that circumstance, then we will say that he has been released. So for instance, if you could recall, he went the first day to the police station and he was released to go and come the following day. We cannot start calculating the 48 hours from the day he was asked to go and come back.
Right. Okay. I get the point. Now, let's talk about the conditions that, the bail conditions that have been slapped on him. 50 million cedis with 2 sureties. The minority say that that is outrageous and that it should be waived or varied. Are you able to tell us what are the what considerations go into how a bail condition is arrived at?
Several considerations are taken into by. I must mention that it is a discretionary, and so the judge must take into consideration the gravity of the matter in asking for the sureties. However, if the sureties that have been given, if the bail condition that has been given to a party is such that it is hard, you also have, as an accused person, you have the power to go back to ask the court to vary, because the bail condition is not supposed to be used to punish a party who is before the court. It is only to guarantee that person's ability to appear before the court for trial. And if it is pending investigation, it is just for a security to allow that person to come back at any time that is required for investigations to be completed.
Right. I get the point. So, and again, like you say, it's left to the discretion of the authorities or the arresting authority. But following the conversation of the assumed charges being leveled against Chairman Wontumi, one being the fact that he mined without legal authority, he entered a forest reserve without authority, and polluting of water bodies. Would you say these are grievous enough for a 50 million cedi bail, or you are unable to speak to this particular one?
Well, like I said earlier on, as a lawyer, if he is my client, I will take into consideration whether or not I have the power to get those people to grant him that. If I don't, what I will do is to go back to the court and seek to vary the conditions that have been provided. So as it stands now, it is up to his lawyers, if they feel that he cannot meet the bail condition, to go back to court to seek to revise that condition that has been given to him. And so that is the remedy that is available to him. So it is not like they are asked to say that they are preventing him from getting his freedom. They are only trying to get a security. So if you think that the security is too harsh, you go back to court and seek to vary it.
Okay. We are grateful for your thoughts on this issue. Thank you so much for speaking to us, Raymond Biderman.
I really appreciate your time.
Right. He is a private legal practitioner and a law lecturer at CAF University, and giving us some legal perspectives on how all of this is playing out. But let's also speak to a security consultant on whether or not Yoko in itself is outstepping its bounds, or the minority are flouting any specific orders. Richard Kumado joins us on the phone. Mr. Kumado, good evening. Thank you for joining us on 3FM.
Thank you, Martin.
What would your immediate thoughts be from the security perspective? That first of all, is Yoko overstepping its bounds because the news or the concern is that they have kept the man beyond 48 hours?
No, they are mindful of the fact that whatever they do could be scrutinized and it could be litigated in court. And they are also mindful of the fact that the 48-hour rule applies. And if they want to keep him beyond that, then they will go to court and make the necessary arrangements. But you remember that he has been charged officially, and there's a bill amount on his head. It's not a duty of security agencies or investigators to determine who stands for him as surety. It is rather the responsibility of his lawyers, particularly when we have a precedent set up not long ago that you remember in the case of the SkyTrain issue, two people, one person has the bill, the other person did not, and they went to court and it was reviewed. So that thing that they should make good use of their lawyers, go to court, speak to the Attorney General, and let the amount there be reviewed. And Martin, there are reasons why law enforcement agencies or investigators place an amount as a bail term for somebody who has come under crime notice. It's not, they don't just do it because they want to do it. And those are the things we need to look at for. So I wouldn't say they are overstepping their boundaries. They are working within the law, and where their assets is, we can look at it.
Okay. Now to the side of the minority, I mean, it is very obvious that they did not plan. This was not a pre-planned demonstration or protest. It was certainly out of the blue. Have they breached any specific laws?
I'm thinking that the Public Order Act would have been breached and they need to be held accountable. I understand some of my brothers and sisters in the media are trying to change it so fast that this is demonstration. So we will not be talking about the Public Order Act. Martin, we are creating a premises in this country where if care is not taken, there will be a standoff between law enforcement agencies and people who belong to politicians or who are politicians or they are lawyers to any of the two parties in Ghana. To that extent, it might create a premises also where it becomes very difficult to protect the state and the citizens may suffer. Why? Because there are standard procedures for doing many of these things we are talking about, public engagements and people confronting law enforcement officers, whether they are on demonstrations or so. I think we are overstepping the limits of that. And I think we are creating a hostile environment for law enforcement officers. Having been in this environment for almost 28 years, 29 years, my fear is that it may create some level of conflict in the future, and there might be serious problems we may not be able to handle in the immediate term.
So when, let me just play the devil's advocate and hold you for a bit. So the point is, there is the assumption that these are members of parliament and should know better that if you want to stage such a street protest or a demonstration, whichever name you give to it, because they were certainly going to discomfort other motorists and road users, they needed to get police permit. If they didn't, would you say because of the quote-unquote privilege they enjoy as members of parliament, they should be let go or they can be pardoned?
It depends on the investigators and what the state will want to do. I am proposing that people gathering unnecessarily and put up a bad behavior and put up a conduct that is inimical to the safety of others and has the ability of breaching public peace and the security of the state, they needed to be arrested and prosecuted, particularly when they are parliamentarians. And I don't think their privileges apply to what we are seeing. You remember 2 days ago or yesterday when they started, the Speaker of Parliament made it so clear that even though law enforcement officers should not harass anybody, the privileges they enjoy as parliamentarians also have limits. And they are taking too much advantage of it, and they are behaving in a manner that is best described as lawlessness. And I think this behavior today is absurdity to the highest level. I think it's uncalled for, it's unnecessary, because in as much as they gather and create discomfort for many of the people who plow that aspect, Wontumi, our big brother Wontumi, will not be released because they gather there. Because the onus is on the lawyer to ensure that they meet the bail term or they go to court to get his buried. And it is not because some people gather or something. And guess what? There could also be an agreement between the lawyers and the particular investigators who have interest in this particular case. They didn't take the two options, but they went into the street and they created all manner of chaos within the specific area. And I don't think that is cool at all.
All right, Mr. Kumado, pleasure talking to you. Thank you for your time.
Martin.
He is a security consultant, sharing his thoughts on maybe giving us a security perspective to today's development. Let's now get a political perspective to it, because clearly the minority is drumming home the position that this is political machinations from the side of the NDC or the government in power, the NDC government. So let's speak to Dr. Samuel Efriye, who is a political analyst with the Kumasi Technical University. Doc, thank you so much for your time this evening on 3FM.
Yes, good evening, Martin.
Do these developments from where you sit increase the political temperature in the country, you think?
Yes. Greetings to your listeners as well. You know, I think I was saying this this morning at your station, that your sister station at TV3, and I was saying that if the security agencies or the other agencies are not careful, the MPP will take an advantage of it to create, should I use the word, unnecessary tension. And that is what needs to be avoided. They may not have or might not have committed any kind of infringement on the laws, but at the end of the day, the procedure or the process or how they will manage some of these things is what matters. And that is what I was urging the other agencies or investigative bodies to be mindful of that. If not, because the MPP has nothing to lose at the end of the day, and you are in to govern. So if the government in power need to have, because I know from privy to information that there's a lot of people that has been listed for questioning. So they need to manage this very, very well in terms of using wisdom in application of timing and the process and engaging lawyers in some of these things. If not, I'm telling you, as it happens, I don't know what I was saying. I was saying in the morning was like a prophet to let this come in, because what the minority did this afternoon is something that is creating traffic or necessary kind of confusion. I saw it. I was watching on your TV3, and clearly you see that it's something that needs to be encouraged. That's why I'm saying that the MPP has nothing to lose now, but they can create an uncomfortable environment for you, and this is where it might not be good for the NDC in some time to come.
Right, Doc, but are we not undermining our own security institutions if we choose to politicize every situation or every issue that comes up? Is it out of place for a state security agency like Yoko to pick up an individual and ask or take the person through due process without any sort of political interference? Is it, for instance, the NDC chairman or the NDC, executive or President Mahama that has asked Yoko to undertake such an operation?
You know, these institutions has been a tool. It's not this time, but previous government, it has been a tool as a political. So any decisions or anything that probably it seems to be genuine for a certain cause, then you see that it's being politicized. And that's what is happening. I don't wish, or we don't wish, that some of these institutions will be seen as doing their job, and you see the political angle that to be twisted. So it behoves on us to have a clearly defined. That's why I'm saying that they need to manage, Yoko or whoever, NIB or whatever, they need to manage some of these things. Because if it continues that they are arresting the opposition or let's say the MPP will have a certain stand that is unintentional, is a way of trying to intimidate them. And if you're not careful, they will come out and create confusion. That is where my argument lies. It's not like the security or whoever that is involved cannot they cannot do anything. But at the end of the day, you are governing. So if you don't have these management of these issues of arresting, I'm not saying they should stop. No, I'm one of those people. Even when Wontumi case came and there were some allegations that he has done something about these money issues, I even said that if they have any concrete evidence, they should arrest the man and send the person to court so that the law will do its course. That I'm not against any kind of appointees who need to be questioned. But the issue now is there's a lot of people that need to be engaged in this kind of investigation. So we need to know that these processes is clearly defined so that we don't have these protesters massing up, party supporters massing up. It has been already there. It has been there. And this is how we are painting our institutions into some of these political perspectives. And it's quite unfortunate, and I think that we need to look at it very well so that we don't let some parties or people or individuals taking advantage of these purposeful kind of investigative for the country. And that is my argument, and I wish that we look at it very well.
Right, and maybe finally, before you take leave of us, would you say some of these developments actually help build our democracy, where varied opinions are considered, people who feel aggrieved are allowed to demonstrate and go about how they are expressing themselves, vis-a-vis the fact that at least we are a young democracy, and the more you allow people to use legal means to express themselves, the better for our democracy? Or some of these things are rather hurting and taking us back in the democratic processes that we are trying to build?
I like the word that you use. It is legal, when you follow the right procedure to engage in protest. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you just come on the street unannounced, do anything, this is where we have, because we have the right. Each and everyone has the right to engage in protest. But you need to do it, as you said, legally, so that we don't have some of these. Because I saw these things, and the police with these fire cannons and other things were trying, and then they protested, and some people were having some verbal engagement. These things, and the road was also blocked because they are there. You can't just pass through. If you pass through, if you're not careful, they will beat you, or they will engage you in some kind of action that is uncalled for. So that is where they should do it in legal form. You can do your press conference, but you don't try to create an impression that there's a kind of war, there's a kind of, and this is something that we have been doing. Okay. Even at the law court, you see when people are being sent to the court, you see party members following them, singing in buses, engaging, and sometimes these things might not be good for our democracy. I think we have grown more than 30 or 35 years in our democracy, the Fourth Republic. We need to grow and learn so that we can improve on some of these aspects of actions and inactions towards state institutions as well.
Dr. Samuel Afriyie, pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for your time this evening. And he is a political analyst and lecturer as well, Dr. Samuel Afriyie there, and has been talking to us on or giving us a political perspective on what some of you have been saying regarding the developments of the minority massing up in front of Yoko. Some of you have also sent your comments in. Let's go through a few of them before we delve into business. Prosper Mensah says, just compare this number of people to Nakoyo's arrest and the crowd for her release. It's clear that MPP supporters are in support of Wontumi's arrest. Chairman can now see those who have the real power. This is Aziz Pro Maxwell says, this is a nuisance to public peace. They have come out to protest without seeking permission from the security agencies. There are procedures for them to follow for protest. Let them be arrested. Okay. And then also Ben Carson says, Edubuahe will think twice following this kind of arrest that has just happened. Right, so many of you have also sent in Maoli Besemanche, I should say, says, the juju of Wontumi is now working on them, rendering honorable men children. All right, so we will pick some of your thoughts again, or the messages you are sending in again, when we are done with business and sports. This is 3FM 92.7. Stay with us. We are live around the world on 3news.com, which is our website. Do keep the messages coming in. We have more for you in a moment.
Early every weekday because of you, to keep you on top of your game. Yeah!
You are at the center of our universe. That's why we make it a duty to serve you only the freshest, hottest news and entertainment. When you want it, where you want it.
Good morning, Ghana, Africa, and the rest of the wonderful world. Welcome to Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. Start your day well informed. Start with us on Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. Catch the all-new Sunrise Morning Show on 3FM 92.7 with me, Johnny Hughes, Helen Apiampofo. Weekdays from 5:55 a.m. to 10 a.m. only on 3FM 92.7.
3FM, your urban lifestyle radio.
Hello there, good evening and welcome to the business segment here on Hot Edition with me, Michael Obudu. And coming up tonight, Ghana to add 2,800 barrels of oil per day to current production from Q3 of this year, following commencement of drilling operations at Tallow and ENI new oil fields. Details of these and many other stories coming up shortly. Please stay with us. Thank you so much for your time. Now straight into our top story, and the Ministry of Energy and Green Transition has announced that Tallow Ghana Limited and its Jubilee partners are restarting drilling operations in the Jubilee fields, and as well as the ENI Ghana and its offshore Cape 3 Point partners in the OCTP fields. This follows approval of the two drilling programs by the Ministry and the Petroleum Commission, signaling renewed investor confidence in Ghana's upstream petroleum sector. This report has more.
New campaign by Eni, together with the recently commenced drilling activity by Jubilee partners, will sustain oil production and enhance operational efficiencies in the two fields. Tallow contracted Noble Ventura drill ship, which is currently in Ghana's waters, will undertake drilling of the well JBEP as a Jubilee full field development oil producer well in the Jubilee southeast area of Jubilee field. Drilling and completion of the well is expected to span 60 days, with initial production averaging 2,800 barrels of oil per day in Q3 2025 and ramping up to 4,500 barrels of oil per day in 2026. The new drilling programs built on the achievements of the previous campaigns by Tallow, which saw the drilling of 50 wells and 21 wells by Eni, delivered ahead of schedule and generally on budget, and would potentially unlock further value and increase the cumulative recovery of oil by up to 7.9 million stock tank barrels by Tallow and 6.2 million stock black tank barrels by Eni at the end of license period of the two fields. The ministry, in a letter signed by spokesperson and head of communications Richmond Roxon, said it will collaborate with the Petroleum Commission to ensure the wells are delivered at excellent environmental and safety records, cost discipline and operational excellence.
That was a 3 Business News Desk report. Meanwhile, Presidential Advisor on the Economy, Seth Tekpe, has said that Ghana is likely to move to an upper middle income country from the current middle income status, which will enable government to access funds from the capital market.
If you bring, let's say 1 more, 2 more, and definitely 3 more FLs, with average 50,000, maybe 80,000, each, it will boost your GDP. And because, per capita depends on growth, the GDP, right, is your GDP divided by your population. If the population does not grow that fast, then we are likely to move from a lower middle income country. We are not a low income country, from a lower middle income country to an upper middle income country. If that is going to be the case, right, then we must prepare. We must use it to resolve some of the challenges that we are facing. We should resolve to put money aside from that. But once you are credible and you are paying down your debt, your ratings also go up. And the rate at which you borrow also goes down.
You heard that Seth Tekpe, he is Presidential Advisor on the Economy. Now, the Chartered Institute of Restructuring and Insolvency Practitioners, CIRIP, is encouraging struggling businesses in Ghana to seek the services of licensed insolvency practitioners at the earliest stages, at the earliest signs of financial distress. The Institute says timely intervention could prevent many firms from collapsing or being forced into liquidation. Speaking to the media at the CIRIP Ghana annual public lecture, President of the Institute, Felix Ado, noted that the newly passed Chartered Institute of Restructuring and Insolvency Practitioners Ghana Act 2024 offers a renewed sense of hope for distressed businesses. He added that with the right professional guidance and support, many companies currently facing financial challenges can be successfully restructured and return to viability.
It's a great beginning. Remember, before last year, before 2020, we didn't have a law which allowed companies to turn around when they are distressed. Okay, that's at 1015. We didn't have that law. The law we had was the bodies corporate at 180. Okay, and that basically said if you are distressed, we liquidate you. No, the new thinking. And that's what is working for these advanced countries, economies. Is that when you are distressed, somebody like an IEP will come and help you turn yourself around. Because sometimes you've been doing it for several years and you're achieving the same results, which are not quite what you want. Okay? And that's why you need an outsider to come and help you do it. That's what this new law does.
So here the President of the Chartered Institute of Restructuring and Insolvency Practitioners, CIRIP, Felix Ado. They're bringing an end to Business Daily here on 3FM 92.7. For more business stories, please visit our website. It's 3news.com/business. I am Michael Ubodu. Thank you for listening. As always, please stay safe. Up next is sports and Bills on standby. Stay tuned.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to the sports segment here on the 3FM Hot Edition. My name is Bill Ishen. Now, the Jollof Derby lived up to its billing as Nigeria's Super Eagles edged Ghana's Black Stars by 2-1 in a dramatic Unity Cup semi-final at the G-Tech Stadium in London. Now, let's hear from General Manager for Sports and Media General Michael Asiedu-Darteh, who gave a wrap of the performance of the Black Stars.
It's fair to say that this was a pretty difficult game for Ghana. It's one of those games that you can classically convert into a game of two halves. Essentially, in the first half, the Black Stars were all over the place, conceded two terribly bad goals that allowed Nigeria to go 2-1 up inside the first 20 minutes. Then the team settled with some really good quality football for the likes of Christopher Usuban, the Belgium-based player. Later in the second half, Caleb Yunchi from Norgeland, another right-to-dream product, was utterly, absolutely brilliant throughout the period. There were good shifts by Salis Ahmed after he recovered from the initial inertia in the first half, and then later when the goal scorer for Ghana, Thomas Brandon Asante, came on, he showed quite a lot of energy.
That was Michael Asiedu-Darteh giving us what he saw from that match between Ghana and Nigeria at the Unity Cup. Now, what the encounter, however, will be remembered for is the birth of a star, that is Caleb Irenchi. Now, he slotted in as a makeshift right back and put up a very great performance, especially in the second half for Ghana. But let's hear from the 19-year-old who spoke to 3 Sports after his debut.
I think it was a good opportunity for me to help and then do my best and give my best to the team. That was basically the main goal. Yeah, I think it was fine. I had a lot of praise. I think it's just we keep going, and then it's not something I really think about. I always take it step by step and then do my best in training, in games, and then also off the field. Do my best and then.
Now, Caleb Irenchi also opened up on his relationship with Ghanaian midfield great Michael Essien, describing him as a good coach who has what it takes to impact anyone.
I think it's very grateful to have such a guy. Yeah, he's very good to everyone. Then the way he carries himself, I think is very nice. And then we learn a lot from him. Yeah, and not only me, he can coach in everyone, anyone talk to. So I think he's all round. Yeah, he helps each and every one of us.
Now, that was Caleb Irenchi, who made his debut for the Black Stars in that defeat against Nigeria. Now, the goal scorer for the Black Stars, Brandon Thomas Asante, expressed his disappointment after that defeat.
Of course, it was on the whole, it was a bit frustrating. You know how this is the biggest game for us. You know, we always we know we can win against this team. So frustrated on that note, but I'm also happy to make my start in scoring goals for Ghana, which I intend to do for a long time. Oh, it's amazing. It just shows what football's about, what the coach is about, and even though half of the fans are for you, half are against you, the whole atmosphere is amazing, and we want to see more days like this. Hopefully, everyone's safe, everyone's happy. And we enjoyed it.
That was Brandon Thomas Asante, the goal scorer for the Black Stars in that defeat against Nigeria. Now, from the men's national team, let's move on to the camp of the senior women's team, the Black Queens, who are currently in Ivory Coast preparing for their friendly games against Ivory Coast. Of course, they'll be playing the Ivory Coast national team on May 30 and also on June 3rd. Now, these matches fall within FIFA's international window. And here is coach Kimleas Brokegren speaking ahead of these two friendlies.
I think it's as a new coach is always about to learn the people that is around you, learn the players, get to know the players, the quality, or the maybe what they miss as well. So of course you always want to win every single game, and of course you want to score a lot of goals, create many chances. But so I was a little bit disappointed, of course, especially in the second game in Senegal. But sometimes good and bad goes a little bit hand in hand.
That was the coach of the Black Queens, Kim Las-Biokegre. Now, before we do go, let's do some tennis, where the top seed Yannick Sinner eased past French veteran Richard Gasquet in straight sets on Thursday to move into the third round of the French Open and send his opponent into retirement. Now, Sinner won 6-3, 6-0, 6-4 in 91 minutes to set up a meeting with Jiri Leheka. Now, before the match, Gasquet admitted that playing the world number one on center court in his 22nd French Open at the Roland Garros Stadium will be a fitting way to end his career. Bringing an end to sports here on the 3FM Hot Edition. My name is Bill Ishen, and of course we have Martin and the rest of the team with a lot more, so do stay tuned.
It has always been a journey of Pan-Africanism and consciousness. It is your regular taxi driver with the urban blend and 3FM 92.7 in living stereo every day, Monday to Friday from 12:30 p.m. till 3 p.m. This is the show everybody listens to, so your business will certainly do well here. My name, Black Rasta. I am the rootical, hairtical, Don Gargan, Mua Fire, come forward. Atinga ya chika fankare, Azure ya chika fankare, Abama ta chika fankare.
Your finest tunes in sync with a soothing voice. 3 Lounge with AJ.
Are you tired of the same old routine? Need a break from the stress and chaos of everyday life? Well, step into the 3 Lounge, your world of absolute relaxation and great music with yours truly, AJ Akwako Sapon. Welcome to the best mid-morning show in the capital and beyond. This is 3 Lounge with yours truly, your radio princess, AJ Akwako Sapon.
Love it. I love it. It's great.
Kickstart your week with Monday motivation. Shake off the Tuesday blues and get ready for midweek mania. Take a trip down memory lane on Throwback Thursday and wrap up the week with Funky Friday with myself and Helen Appiah Ampafo. Plus, enjoy exciting celebrity interviews, insightful conversation, engaging discussions on topics that matter, and there's a boatload of fun and easy activations that reward and appreciate you, our loyal listener.
If you are listening, we're manifesting money into your pocket this morning.
Don't miss out on the excitement. Tune in to 3 Lounge every weekday morning from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. with AJ Akwako Sapon, only on 3FM 92.7.
It's my number one.
92.7 3FM, your urban lifestyle radio.
I wake up early every weekday because of you, to keep you on top of your game. Yeah!
You are at the center of our universe. That's why we make it a duty to serve you only the freshest, hottest news and entertainment. When you want it, where you want it.
Good morning, Ghana, Africa, and the rest of the wonderful world. Welcome to Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. Start your day well informed. Start with us on Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. Catch the all-new Sunrise Morning Show on 3FM 92.7 with me, Johnny Hughes, Helen Appiah Ampafo. Weekdays from 5:55 a.m. to 10 a.m. only on 3FM 92.7.
3FM, your urban lifestyle radio.
It has has always been a journey of Pan-Africanism and consciousness. It is your regular taxi driver with the urban blend and 3FM 92.7 in living stereo every day, Monday to Friday, from 12:30 p.m. till 3 p.m. This is the show everybody listens to, so your business will certainly do well here. My name, Black Rasta. I am the rootical, heatical, Don Gargan, Mua Fire, come forward. I think I chica fankare, Azure ya chica fankare, Abama ta chica fankare.
Accra, Ghana, Africa, and worldwide. Join us on Inspirational Gospel Mix this and every Sunday, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m.
Get ready for the revolution. What you say now? As justification. Mr. Speaker, as we speak, Chairman Woon to me is still in the custody of NIB, Yoko, but has been sent to the NIB clinic. Mr. Speaker, Yoko, I must emphasize, because this is a house of record, he is unwell now, and it's been 48 hours. But Mr. Speaker, is that clinic able to give him the treatment he needs? Yoko cannot allocate the power of demanding justification at the inquiry level. You are doing investigation. The matter is not before a court for trial. And then you make the bail conditions so onerous. It is clear that this is being used to punish him. The rule of law must be followed. Due process must be followed. Mr. Speaker, it is clear from what is happening that Yoko is being capricious, that Yoko is being biased, and Mr. Speaker, we must not entertain it. Whilst he has his right to pursue the matter in another forum, I believe that for the good of democracy, Yoko, without delay, must revoke and vary that onerous bail condition. The man is still in the hospital. You are demanding 50 million worth of property. And Mr. Speaker, the sad part of it is that if the individuals go there, they bail, Mr. Speaker, the sureties. Colleagues, pay attention to this. Maybe today it is an MPP member. Please, when the person gets there, the surety, yesterday when one surety got there, they now said that the person to go and do inspection has closed. To person available. You go there at 10 o'clock, they say it's not available. Mr. Speaker, we should not do this to ourselves. That until Yoko
is able to do the right thing, we, the MPP side, however our numbers, will protest by absenting ourselves from proceedings of this house and join him. We are all going to sleep there with him, and we are not going to ask for any property. We don't have 50 million worth of properties. Where is he going to get it from? That go and bring landed documents. Mr. Speaker, they must do the right thing, and we will not be part of any proceedings until the right thing is done.
I was thinking whether this is a matter to open up for a debate. He is seeking the leave of the House to draw the House attention to a matter of urgent public importance. And I have listened carefully to him. I will want the House to take a look at Article 125 of the Constitution, particularly clause 1, 2, and 3, and have the view as to what we should be doing in the circumstances. Honorable members, let me read Article 125. Justice emanates from the people and shall be administered in the name of the Republic by the judiciary, who shall be independent and subject only to this Constitution. 2.
So that's the voice of Richard Ahiafo. You're welcome back to 3FM 92.7. This is Hot Edition. And Richard Ahiafo is the first Deputy Speaker of Parliament. He was presiding today in Parliament. And before he spoke, you also heard the voice of Alexander Penyomarking, who is the minority leader. Now, he led the protest or the march by the minority side in Parliament to Yoko premises. And clearly, their message is simple, that they want the Ashanti Regional Chairman of the New Patriotic Party in the person of Bernard Ntwibwe-Siakon, popularly known as Chairman Wontumi, to be released or the bail conditions waived, reconsidered, so that he can also be set free, or they will stay there or stay at the premises of Yoko until this demand is met. Well, news we have just got a few minutes ago before coming back in studio is that the minority MPs in Parliament that went to the Yoko office have all dispersed. They have left. So it looks as though Chairman Wontumi would have to deal with his own fate today. What we are also picking up is that they are likely to return to the premises hopefully tomorrow to continue with their protest. And like you heard Apenyomarkin say, they are going to boycott parliamentary proceedings until something concrete is done or heard from the Yoko officials. Otherwise, they will ensure that they frustrate parliamentary business. But can they do? Looking at the numbers that they have in Parliament, can their absence actually even affect proceedings in the House? Well, that's a question that we would have to leave to you and see what the next few days have for us. But as it stands, they have left the premises of Yoko. The police service, we are told, is taking over the area following the traffic congestion that arose as a result of the presence of the minority and the numbers that massed up there. So now that they have left, the leadership have left, the MPs have left, so the other party supporters who gathered there are also leaving the place, and the police is ensuring that free flow of traffic returns, and then people can go about their regular business. So let's bring you some of the messages many of you have been sending in. So Aziz Pro Maxwell says they can do their worst. They never knew that a day like this could come when they were being arrogant to citizens of Ghana. They loot the ordinary to enrich themselves, and now what? They must pay all that is due the state. Wontumi was one of the arrogant political talkers. This is just the beginning. Levi Nikoi says, make them sleep floor safe. We know they care. Right. And then when you go further down, Mohammed Abbas Haruna says they speak arrogantly and later go home to spend the night with their family, leaving Wontumi alone with the mosquitoes. Okay, that's a message just coming in. Another one here says, today, all those who are sitting down there don't know how they abused their power that led to their opposition. Hypocrisy, you say. Bilal Seku says, see who's talking about abuse of the law. Mohamed Abbas Haruna again comes, incoherent speech by an irresponsible MP. Thomas Asako also sends a message and says, those guys carrying the car tires, do they know what is happening? Right, so you saw in the videos that we played that some persons were blocking one of the roads with some car tires. So that's the question you are raising, whether they know that what they are doing was illegal. Kofi Tano says they should go to court. Again, some have asked that if the minority are slighted or feel hard done by this decision, they should go to court. Bright BKB says Patricia PJ should also sit down now. Okay, so, well, she was unfortunately ill-dressed for the occasion, so could not sit when the male MPs were sitting there. Mohamed Abbas Haruna again comes and says, I can count less than 30 NPP MPs. This tells us that not all the NPP MPs support this action. And you use a word that I cannot read on radio. So, Alhaj Baba Umar, the micro minority can stay there for the next 4 years. After all, they have no use in parliament. Kofi Albert, the prof, says, so did they notify the police before going on this protest? I guess their gathering there is even unlawful. David Panford says, if they say this is politics, I don't get it. Are they not politicians? That's a question you ask. They are just causing distraction and chaos to government business. If they like, they should sleep without going to work.